In today's video, we've got some details on Red Dead Redemption 2's online component, and that's been a segment of the game that's been really hidden in secrecy, and only 3 months ahead of its release, we're finally starting to get some tidbits of information about the online play. On top of that, it looks like Darksiders 3 has had its release date leaked on the Microsoft Store. Darksiders is back, and it looks like it will be hitting this year. The Resident Evil 2 devs are saying that Resident Evil 2 Remake is not a shooter, but rather a survival horror game. We've got sales numbers on a remaster that was released this year, and we'll be rounding the video out by taking a look at some very good PlayStation 4 game deals that are going on right now. Physical game deals, we know we've been taking a look at digital deals, but for those of you that like hard copies of your games, we've got you covered at the end of this video. First up, let's talk a little bit about Red Dead Redemption 2 and its online play. While we know little bits of information about the single player component of Red Dead Redemption 2, the online play has been hidden in a lot of secrecy. However, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick spoke to GameDaily.biz, and Zelnick talked a little bit about Red Dead Redemption 2's online and how it compares to Fortnite of all games. He said this, quote, "We've used Battle Royale mechanics before. I won't rule out including a Battle Royale, but any mechanic you use would want to be in service of the core entertainment experience. No one is looking for a clone of Fortnite. I wish we had Fortnite. We don't. So wishing we had Fortnite is not going to help me. You can't possibly believe that Battle Royale is the only mechanic that has captured people's attention that interact with entertainment. So if you're busy cloning it, you're going to get to market in 3 years. Good luck to you. You don't think there will be another hit in between now and then? Because I do. Do I think it's a hit that will be a clone of Fortnite? I do not." That's positive words and innovative words in a time like this where so many studios are coming out and announcing Battle Royale. Battlefield's got a Battle Royale. Call of Duty's got a Battle Royale. And while I think the market could use more Battle Royale experiences, at the same time, I am 100% positive that at some point the market will be flooded with Battle Royale games, and there will be too many. We saw this with survival games, we saw this with MOBAs, we've seen it with just about every popular genre. First-person shooters, it happened years ago. But it looks like Take-Two and Strauss Zelnick are well aware that just cloning Fortnite or creating another Battle Royale game in its own right and just trying to cash in, that's not going to lead you to immense success. However, in all honesty, a Red Dead Redemption 2 Battle Royale, a Wild West Battle Royale, that sounds pretty cool to me. And if it were to be a part of Red Dead Redemption 2 but not the entire focus, I wouldn't mind that all too much. But with games like Black Ops 4, it's really becoming one of the central talking points, and I don't really know about that. Moving on from that, Darksiders 3 has had its release date leaked on the Microsoft Store. If you go to the Microsoft Store, it lists a release for November 27th of this year. The guys over at WCCF Tech got a picture of it, and yes, it does list November 27th as the date, so it does look like it'll be coming out this fall, towards the end of the fall, but the game was scheduled for a 2018 release. The gameplay we had originally seen of Darksiders 3 looked a little rough around the edges. I wasn't completely sold on the game, but a lot of time has passed since then. Maybe it got refined, and maybe it's shaping up for a pretty good release. All I know is that Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2 were both very good games, and Darksiders 3 has a lot of potential if it just follows in those footsteps. I was just not completely sold with the demo, but I'm sure they've revamped the game, and I'm sure it looks very different from what it did back then. So again, we'll have to wait of an official confirmation from THQ Nordic, but November 27th does sound like a pretty likely date.
This undertaking, though they are 7, and you but 1.
With pleasure.
Moving on from that, a game we do have a release date for is the Resident Evil 2 Remake, and it's quickly become one of the most anticipated upcoming games. While it won't be hitting 2018, it'll be releasing very early in 2019, and it is one of the early contenders for most anticipated games of 2019. And a big reason for that is because Resident Evil 2 harkens back to the old survival horror days, where survival horror games were actually survival horror and not just shooters with some jump scares. Well, the producers of the Resident Evil 2 Remake talked about the game, and here's what they had to say. Quote, "You look at Resident Evil 4, it's a combination of over-the-shoulder perspective and more shooter-based gameplay, and that was the same for Resident Evils 4, 5, and 6. Just because this remake has gone over-the-shoulder doesn't mean that it also has a shooter focus. This is something we really want to make clear. We want people to separate in their minds what an over-the-shoulder game is and what a shooter is. Resident Evil 2 2019 is over-the-shoulder plus survival horror, which is actually kind of an unprecedented combination for the series. But this game is going to be slower paced, resource management, survival horror adventure gameplay with backtracking, Metroidvania exploration, puzzle solving. We're not really adding shooter gameplay to it at all. I think if anyone has any concerns that Over the Shoulder is going to make it an action game, then we can tell you no, it feels like Resident Evil 2, it's just that there's a brand new perspective. The Resident Evil 2 Remake is hitting the PlayStation 4 on January 29th. Dark Souls Remastered has been one of many remasters that were released, and its estimated retail sales figures have come out at 231,158 units for its first week at retail. Now, while that number may not seem all too impressive at the start, bear in mind that this is retail only, and with the bigger focus to digital downloads, and Dark Souls Remastered being a budget title, this is a game that I foresee a lot of people did download, and even still, because it's a remaster for Bandai Namco, the break-even for this game is so low in comparison to a game like Dark Souls 3 that honestly they probably had to sell a very small amount of units of this game, and then it was just gravy for them. That's why we see so many publishers put out these remasters, even games like Red Faction Guerrilla. Who asked for a Red Faction Guerrilla remaster? But we got it, and that's because there are gonna be that small portion of people that will check the game out, and because the break-even is so low in comparison to a brand new game release, that you're risking very little by putting these remasters out. And the Dark Souls remaster, while this number doesn't look all too impressive, those two things come into play very much. The fact that remasters break even is so low that it doesn't really matter how well this game sells, at least in the eyes of Bandai Namco, and the fact that I imagine that this is a game that a lot of people are downloading as well. Lastly, I want to take a look at some great PlayStation 4 game deals that Newegg is running right now. A lot of good stuff available, and of course, all of these deals are physical. First up, we've got Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 HD Remix for $19.99. This is your entry point into Kingdom Hearts, and with Kingdom Hearts 3 being released on January 25th, now is the time to pick up this collection. Get yourself caught up with Kingdom Hearts because there's a lot of catching up to do, a lot of games to play through, but to get it all for $19.99, that is an excellent deal.
And Goofy. Everyone is waiting.
A key that opens the hearts of entire worlds and allows one to obtain anything and everything.
Next up, we've got Far Cry 5 down to $29.99 after a promo code. Seems to be this is becoming the regular price for Far Cry 5. I said it back when Far Cry 5 was released. Ubisoft games get discounted very quickly. We've seen that be the trend. And here we have another one, Far Cry 5 regularly available for $30. I think the game is absolutely worth $30, but kind of goes to show maybe it's not the best idea to pick up Ubisoft games right from the get-go. That goes for AC Odyssey too. I could very well see that game be $30 at Black Friday again. But still, these games are very good. It's just that if you're trying to save money, which is kind of the point of this, Ubisoft is one publisher you can really hold out from buying their games, and that'll pay dividends.
So he throws you straight into a drug-fueled time trial through a hallucinatory training course. Tick-tock. Jacob and his goons aren't the only army up here, though. Meet the Whitetail Militia, who are just as heavily armed and shaggy-looking as the cultists, but aren't interested in kidnapping and murdering innocent folks.
And lastly, another game that got discounted very quickly, Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus is down to $20 at Newegg after our promo code. $20 seems to be the new standard price for this game on sale as well. For a while it was $30, but now you can regularly find it for $20. A great deal. Wolfenstein 2 is a fantastic game, and $20 is a great pickup for it since it is a single-player only first-person shooter. You're gonna spend your 10 to 14 hours with it and then probably be done with it. So that is gonna conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think about what Strauss Zelnick Newegg had to say about Red Dead Redemption 2's online. It won't be a clone of Fortnite, so I'm sure a lot of you will be happy about that. Darksiders 3's release date has been leaked November 27th of this year. It's coming out at a very heavy time in terms of game releases, but it is coming out after the gigantic wave of Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout 76, and a bunch of other games. We don't have a lot of games announced for late November, so maybe it will do alright in that time frame. Resident Evil 2 devs are adamant that the game is not a shooter, but a survival horror game with an over-the-shoulder camera. Dark Souls Remastered has its first week sales numbers out, 231,158 units. While that isn't amazing, again, as I said, a lot of people probably downloaded this game, and the break-even for this game was so low that it really doesn't matter to Bandai Namco. And make sure you take advantage of those great PlayStation 4 game deals. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 for $19.99, Far Cry 5 for $29.99, and Wolfenstein 2 for $19.99. Some great games there. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.